this month titled Lean in Higher Education, How the Lean Journey Continues to Change Our Culture at Piedmont Technical College, South Carolina. My name is Dr. Tina Barrero O'Daniels. I have the honor to serve as the Associate Director and Faculty for the Institute of Higher Education at the University of Florida. It is my pleasure to serve as your moderator. The Bellwether College Consortium's website and our webinar today is being hosted by our consortium's premier technology partner, Campus Connect. Campus Connect is a mobile solution for streamlining and managing student admissions and enrollment. The mission behind Campus Connect is led by its company CEO, John Sable. As thought leader and maverick in mobile space, John and his team assist colleges to better understand the fast-growing technology and cultural change of mobile technology. The Bell College Consortium members receive a special pricing consideration should they wish to seek Campus Connect for the higher education mobile solution. At this time, I would like to especially thank Lauren Voigt with Campus Connect for her technological expertise and her continued support with the Bellwether College Consortium's website. Before turning the session over to our presenters, please allow me to share the following. The Bellwether College Consortium's primary goals are to promote effective post-secondary programs for replication at institutions of higher education from across the nation, and to actively position Bellwether colleges to be in the best possible position to pursue various funding and partnership opportunities. To learn more about the Bellwether College Consortium, please visit bellwethercc.org. Future use, this webinar will be recorded and will be archived on the Bellwether College Consortium website. It will be available approximately tomorrow, Monday morning. You have to wait for WebEx to send us the information, and then Lauren posts it on our website. For today's webinar, please feel free to submit your questions in the question and answer box. Should you not be able to find your question and answer box, please go to the very top of your screen and you will see a box. Go ahead and hover your mouse over the top, and it says Viewing Maggie Slimmer's Desktop. It'll come down like a curtain, and then you'll be able to open up to the far right-hand side a drop arrow that will allow you to bring up the question and answer box. So there's a special panel up at the top that will allow you to open up your question and answer box if it's not already open. Should your questions not be answered during the presentation, your questions will be forwarded to the presenters, and they will respond to you directly via email. On to the presentation. It is an honor to introduce to you Lisa Barthes. She's joining us from Piedmont Technical College, and she has a team of individuals who will be presenting with us today. Lisa is the Program Manager, Quality Improvement and Lean Manufacturing, Continuing Education, Economic Development Division. Goodness, Lisa, could we add anything more to your list? So at this time, we would like to turn the program over to you and your team, and thank you again so very much for joining us today.
Tina, what a wonderful welcome, and we are so excited to be coming to you today from Greenwood, South Carolina. Piedmont Technical College is located in upstate South Carolina, and we actually cover 7 different counties. So our main campus is in Greenwood, our home campus is in Greenwood, and we're excited to be with you all today to talk to you about our lean journey. Now, Piedmont Technical College, as I said earlier, serves 7 counties in upstate South Carolina, and the primary market that we serve is heavily composed of manufacturing industries as well as healthcare and education. But manufacturing employs the majority of our workforce. So probably like many of our audience members today, we have customers, partners who have been practicing lean for years, maybe even decades. And the journey that we're going to talk about today really began back in about 2008 when we made a conscious decision to implement Lean here at the college, trying to streamline our processes. Now, my co-presenters here today include Tara Harris. Tara is our Dean of Nursing. She's a doctoral candidate, and she has 13 years of clinical experience in nursing, as well as Rusty Denning. Rusty is our Associate Vice President for Continuing Education and is also currently serving as the Interim Dean for Engineering and Industrial Technologies. We have Maggie Slimmer with us here for emotional support. Maggie is our Lean coordinator, so she'll be able to pull any facts or details or data to help us answer some of your questions. We'll get started. As Tina said, our topic today really talks about how Lean continues to change the culture at Piedmont Technical College. And we really believe that part of our journey includes fulfilling our role as a force for good and really taking the lessons that we've learned and sharing them with the rest of the world. Back in 2008, we had a student population of just under 5,000. While that's a pretty strong student population for the 7-county area that we serve, we also knew that we had the potential to grow and serve even more customers, more clients. And again, we consider our primary customer to be our students, but recognize that we have other customers, especially the employers in our 7-county area. So we knew that there were opportunities for growth, but we also had several pretty serious challenges facing us at the time. So today what we're going to talk to you about is what was taking place back in 2008, the actions that we took, the results that we saw, how we've been able to take those results and really be a steward of those lessons and share the lessons learned with our not only institutions of higher education, but also the K-12 systems as well. And we're also going to talk about how we sustain these changes over time and how other colleges could replicate what we've done. Back in 2008, as I said earlier, our student population was just under 5,000. And we started to see some signs that there was a pretty dismal outlook for our future funding. We had gotten word that there was going to be a dramatic reduction of state funding, and that was not just a one-time reduction. That was going to take place over the next several years. We had uncertainty in our enrollment at that time, and we were facing some really tough challenges, which included looking at different programs to decide if we needed to or could keep all of them running, operating. We also had to face some pretty tough decisions about whether or not to have a reduction in force. You can see from 2008 to 2012, we had experienced some pretty significant reductions in state funding to the tune of about $4 million. And it was actually a 38.9% reduction in state funding. And this happened at a time where we knew we not only had a need in our community for us to offer certain programs, but also to reach more individuals and share training and education with those folks. We needed to decide how in the world were we going to accommodate such serious fund cuts and grow our enrollment and improve and enhance our programs as well. Note that Lean was definitely an opportunity, provided us with an opportunity to identify and reduce waste. It also helped us improve flow. So certainly by identifying and eliminating waste and improving flow, we felt very strongly that that should help us effect better customer outcomes as well as increased efficiency. So after some deliberation, it was decided that Lean was definitely the way to go. And we chose in 2008.
I am so sorry to interrupt you, but before we go too far into the slides, we have a very important question of clarification. In regards to your enrollment comparison, is that student count or FTE, or what is that, student count, FTE, or head count?
Student head count, the 5,000?
Student head count. Okay, yes, I believe that's what the gentleman is asking, and I did not want us to go any further without that clarification. I apologize.
Thank you, and please feel free to stop me at any point if we need to clarify something before we far.
Okay, for Jeff, who asked the question, I hope that we answered your question significantly. Go. Sorry.
Thanks, Tina. All right, so we definitely made the conscious decision that we were going to pursue and employ lean tools and techniques. Now, what in the world does that mean? You know, in my role at Piedmont Tech, I go out into local business and industry and train their employees. I also often am called upon to train unemployed and underemployed individuals. And it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of times where I'll introduce the concept of lean, and there's always somebody in the audience who raises their hand and says, "Oh, I know all about lean. I got leaned out of my last job." And that's not what lean is all about. You know, I've come to understand, though, that people's perception of lean is defined by the experiences that they've had in their current employer and in other or with other organizations. So let's start by clarifying what we mean by lean here at Piedmont Technical College. When we talk about implementing lean tools and techniques, we really have a very strong and purposeful customer-student focus. We want to make sure that we are meeting our customers' needs, with our students being our primary customers. We were specifically launching into an endeavor where we were committed to studying and improving our processes. We were going to identify and remove waste. That means actually getting down to the root cause of those wastes and not just addressing symptoms. When we talk about lean, what we're trying to do is to run a process and try to figure out where we could make the leap or close the gap between the current practice and the ideal state. And pursuit of perfection is something that's always forefront in our thoughts and in our actions. And tools that we chose specifically to employ at this point were the tools of observation, value stream mapping, problem solving, which includes root cause analysis, and 5S. Now, many of you who are listening here today, and you may have industry or manufacturing experience, you may see that there are some tools that are used daily in manufacturing that don't appear on that list. And we're going to talk about, you know, how we are incorporating those over time, so we don't overwhelm people and that we get everyone on board here. But let me just make a few more points about what we believe here at Piedmont Tech that lean is and what it is not. Now, basically, we are committed here to making data-driven decisions, and we use the different lean tools and techniques to help make the right decisions based on the data that we've collected. We do consider lean to be part of an overall continuous improvement methodology, and it not only requires us to act differently, but we have to think differently, and that has required every faculty and staff member to embrace this whole new mindset, understanding that, you know, there's always room for improvement. There's always ways that we can do things differently. Now, we also believe that we can get there with just a handful of people doing this. Our lean initiative requires the cumulative knowledge, skills, and abilities of every faculty staff member, you know, even other partners, perhaps students or some of our industrial partners, even our body, you know, gives us feedback and information that helps us make the right decisions on behalf of the students. If you logged in today because you are looking for a strict cost-cutting or headcount reduction strategy, you have come to the wrong place. And we talk about this a lot. That if you think lean is all about, slash and dash, cutting heads, cutting budgets, that's not what lean is about. It's about doing a better job of getting the outcomes and the services that our customers desire. It is certainly
Lisa,
not.
I'm so glad that you clarified that, because I would hate for our attendees to think that that's what we're about today.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. But again, Tina, several of the companies or several individuals that I've come in contact with over the years, if they've had an unfortunate experience with a company that called headcount reduction lean, then they really don't have the correct perception of what lean can do for them.
Yes.
Okay,
for the
lean is
clarification.
not, sure, absolutely. It's not a short-term fix, and one of the things is that we try to make real clear whenever we speak to our educational institutions, lean does not offer us a cookie-cutter approach. We've had several colleges call us and say, we've heard about the savings you all have realized. Send us the list of your top 20 projects that contributed to those savings. And tell them that's not going to help you. The wastes that we had in our processes are going to be different from the wastes that you have in your processes. So looking at our hit list, or our list of completed projects isn't going to get you the results that you need at your college. It is definitely not a cookie-cutter approach, and you certainly do not need to believe that lean is the flavor of the month. If your college chooses to embrace this, you really need to make the commitment to be in it for the long haul. If you decide that lean is the right approach for your college to help you pursue better outcomes for your students, as well as the removal of waste and unnecessary resources, it's really the way to effect lean is as easy as 1, 2, 3. The first step being pick the tools that you want to implement and partner with some lean experts. I'm sure every college listening here today has partners, either in manufacturing, healthcare, banking, perhaps even in the government sector, or that has lean experts that they could partner with or tap into. I recommend that you implement the tools that you've chosen on a trial basis. Get your early adopters to come forward and be willing to try it out. Give it ample time to work and show you the results that you're looking for. Evaluate the results and then make any course corrections that are necessary. Once you have evidence, you have objective proof and data that shows you that lean is helping you to achieve the better outcomes, for better measurable outcomes for your students and other customers, to expand the implementation. And here at Piedmont Tech, we've actually made it a requirement for all of our faculty and staff members. And it's even written into our annual performance appraisal systems. So we complete our EPMS and FPMS appraisals every year. We are all gauged on our contribution to the lean effort here. I'm going to briefly go over the impact to the college, and then we're going to talk about how much more far-reaching this impact has been. And it's taken us to levels that we didn't even imagine that we could reach this early on in our journey. Now, at this point, we've implemented well over 1,400 projects, and they focused on better resource utilization. Some of those projects were focused on time savings. Some were focused on material savings. Some were focused on getting more response out of equipment and technology, or better building utilization. This last year, we have also combined our lean process improvement with a customer service initiative, because we understand that in order to attract and retain top talent, we have to be continuously looking at not only our process, but also our ability to deal effectively with people. So we've been able to see a $13.9 million cost avoidance. Now, I say that is a cost avoidance. That is not an additional $13.9 million in the bank. That is not a new money or cost savings. It's a cost avoidance. Some of our projects result in soft dollar savings. Some result in hard dollar savings. All of our projects do result in some type of better resource utilization. Results that we've seen, we've been able to respond faster to requests by our customer. We've been able to see improved communication between departments and also between faculty and staff and our students. And we have been working very hard at streamlining our documentation processes that affect us both from an internal HR point of view as well as an external student-oriented point of view. Now, some of you may be thinking, this sounds really good, but really, what kind of impact have you seen other than cost avoidance? And I tell you, the numbers tell the truth. Since 2008, we've been able to see a 31.9% increase in our student enrollment. So from 2008 to 2012, 31.9% increase in enrollment. Our state average for all of the technical colleges in our state system over the same time period was 15.8%. And between 2008 and 2010, the national two-year public average was 8.7%. That's a lot of information to roll out in the first few minutes here. So, team, I'm going to ask, do you have any questions that maybe we'll stop here and pause and take some time for some questions?
Yeah, I think this would be the perfect time to ask the question, because so many of us, and you were so good about clarifying how lean can find in so many different ways by different industries and where individuals come from and their backgrounds. But how does lean differ from some of the other approaches that have been implemented over the years, such as quality improvement teams and Six Sigma?
You asked that. Thank you, callers and participants, for sending your questions to us. There are some tools that are shared between lean and some of our other continuous quality improvement approaches. And the way I look at things, they really all fall under Six Sigma, lean, IP teams, all fall under the quality improvement umbrella. And so you're likely to be exposed in a lean course or a curriculum to some similar tools that you may also be taught in a Six Sigma course. And a lot of the Six Sigma training that we see taking place currently is now even being called Lean Six Sigma or Lean Sigma. One of the ways that I explain it to my students is that if you take more of a lean approach, if you're taking a continuous improvement approach that's more lean-based, you're focusing more on throughput, and you have to have some level of assumption that the quality is satisfactory. If you are taking a continuous improvement approach that's more quality or Six Sigma-based, you're trying to improve the quality, and there has to be some level of assumption that the throughput is there. I mean, we can all turn out the perfect student if we put enough time and effort and resources into that student, but if we're only graduating one student a year, that's probably not going to satisfy the needs of all the employers that are in our service areas.
Good example. Good example. Another question for you. How did you decide and your team decide which lean tools to use?
Another excellent question. When I go out into local business and industry and help them with their lean implementations, we usually start with value stream mapping. And value stream mapping is going to give you the very high level approach, the very high level view of the flow of your business processes. And the value stream mapping endeavor usually ends up pointing to the tools that are going to give you the biggest gains that you're looking for. Now, some of the lean tools that are used every day in our local manufacturing organizations are going to give us the heavy hits that we need here at Piedmont Tech. And so we decided early on that a simple, straightforward problem-solving tool like A3 problem solving was really going to give us the biggest bang for our buck at the start of our lean journey here. Now, Tara Harris is going to talk about how she chose to teach lean tools to her students. She actually teaches these same tools to her curriculum students. And Tara, would you like to take over from here?
Sure. Hi, Tina. How are you doing today?
Hello, how are you?
I'm going to get to my students, but the first thing I want to talk about is our student impact as far as our lean processes. Since the inception of lean at Piedmont Technical College, many processes have been improved that have directly affected student satisfaction. You can see we have a list of processes that have been improved, but one I would like to discuss today would be the early alert system. Many students within classes tend to fall off the radar when midterm grades are published or required at colleges. I know that within our college, our students have probably been in class about 7.5 weeks, and by that time, if we just now notify the students of their success within their programs, it's a little too late. And research shows that alerting a student of unsuccessful grades and or increased absences at midterm is too late. And previously, our early alert system was a plethora of paperwork. And I can tell you firsthand, I filled out some of that paperwork, and I think it was 4 or 5 sheets of paperwork that we had to work with. It took a great deal of time to complete, and many faculty didn't even know where the forms were located. They didn't know how to complete the forms, or by the time the forms were completed and the students were notified, the success rate for the students was dismal. With the implementation of lean, the early alert system is now a computerized form, and one form from the many forms that we had previously. Once activated by the faculty, the form is immediately sent to the student support services, and the type of alert is even filtered out to the correct counselor. For lean not only improved this process, but it also improved student achievement. Nursing department, I can kind of add this to the student impact with the early alert system. We went one step further because we actually had a nursing counselor that's located in our department, and we noticed that when we would use the computerized version of early alert system, our early alerts would go to the student support team, then back to our counselor, and then our counselor would have to go back to the student. So with another lean process, we developed a link on the computerized form, went straight to our nursing counselor. So just took it one more step down to notify the students earlier. So absolutely, we have seen a big impact in our student achievement in nursing and throughout the college. The thing I want to talk about is the employer impact. A few years ago, I implemented the lean principles with my leadership and management class in nursing. After careful planning, I decided that teaching the students about the history of lean and the use of A3 problem-solving tool was a perfect element within their clinical preceptorship. Now, a little bit about our clinical preceptorship, just to kind of give you the background. Each nursing student in my class is given the task of completing 18 to 24 preceptor hours. During the time frame, the students observe the setting for potential processes that were inefficient or have some sort of breakdown. This then works with a nurse manager and nursing faculty to develop an A3 problem-solving tool for that process improvement. Once A3 is developed, the students then implement the change and then evaluate to see if the change was effective. And this starts at the beginning of the class, beginning of the semester in each class, and rolls throughout the semester. So in the summertime, we do this over 10 weeks, and then spring and fall, we do this over a 15-week time frame. At the end of the semester, the students are required to present their lean projects to the class. The first time I did this, the students immediately grasped hold of the concept concept, and we're able to complete 42 lean projects within healthcare organizations across our 7-county region, which is huge. Not only did this lean implementation teach my students a new way of thinking, but also help the healthcare organizations with new, more efficient processes that help save time, energy, and money. Actually, I have a increased number now because I have lean projects that are coming in as we speak. But to date, we've probably completed about 130 lean projects within our 7-county region. And now one hospital received a grant and would like to implement some of these lean practices, and our graduates are more marketable for when interviewing for jobs with this lean knowledge, because all the hospitals are starting to learn this process improvement. Then I'm going to talk about is the Upstate South Carolina impact. In all of 2012, we developed a lean course to enhance the manufacturing curriculum that was developed for one of our industry partners and taught at the Center for Advanced Manufacturing. We had participants from 10 upstate counties to attend this program in its first semester. The majority of the students secured employment within 60 days of certification completion. From the success, Peay Technical College will be expanding our certificate offerings this fall in 2013, which we're extremely excited about. All the buzz about lean taking place in upstate South Carolina, other entities such as healthcare facilities are exploring lean tools and techniques. Some of our area hospitals have successfully obtained grant funding to implement lean within their facilities, and me being in the nursing department hopes that some of our projects kind of help push that forward. And what we're very excited about is one has recently contacted us to assist with their implementation plan. We're looking forward to that within the next coming week.
Yeah, so as a college that serves both manufacturing and healthcare and banking and finance and government entities, we understand that it's important for us to understand the different tools that these various industries use. So whereas we can go out into one of our manufacturers and help them with a quick changeover, single-minute exchange of dies kind of event, then we can turn around and go to one of the local healthcare facilities and also help them with A3 problem solving and root cause analysis. So that's one of the decisions that you decide internally which tools are going to give us the results that we're looking for, and can we borrow from some of what we're already teaching to our external clients as well.
Absolutely, Lisa. And like I said earlier, it does make our graduates way more marketable to be able to secure those jobs, because I know in nursing and probably in the manufacturing and other areas too, these jobs are sought after, and we have lots of people who want the same jobs. And so to have that lean knowledge under their belt is just a plus in their direction. The last thing that I want to talk about today would be the K-12 community impact, and this was very exciting, a very exciting component for me. In an effort to implement the lean concept in the K-12 setting, I updated my nursing leadership and management class to include the entire lean curriculum taught to the Piedmont Tech faculty and staff. The reason I started this, number one, is I love the lean concept. I loved it from the moment that I started lean sitting in a classroom at Piedmont Technical College. But I also noticed I have 3 children, and 2 of them go to school, and I noticed some of the inefficiencies that some of our K-12 community has. And I think it's just because they don't have the knowledge of lean, and they are it is hard with the economic times as we were in higher education. So we're kind of looking at the same issues. So nursing students learned these principles of lean. They presented the lean training to the faculty and staff at an elementary school in Abbeville, South Carolina. Training included an overview of the basic lean principles and the intensive training into some of the lean tools, including observation, and the A3 problem solving tool. What I noticed about the nursing students when taught this curriculum, they know this curriculum upside down and inside out, because they have to study it, they have to understand it, and then they have to relay this information to the faculty. So it was a great learning and teaching tool for the nursing students. Elementary school faculty was then given the task to move forward and take a hard look at processes within their school and utilize the A3 problem-solving tool to improve some of the inefficient processes. I can't tell you, whenever we were there teaching, immediately the faculty and staff at Diamond Hill immediately just started popping up with ideas about processes, and it was just interesting to see the wheels turning within their brains with what they could do to improve the processes. And that was within an hour time frame that they had to work on that particular tool. So it was wonderful to see that. This fall of 2013, the elementary school faculty will come back together for coaching and implementation of the A3 project. Technical College will also add a K-12 component to the Lean Summit in November that will be held here at Piedmont Tech for those educators interested in learning how to apply Lean into their organizations. The principal from Diamond Hill Elementary School, Ramey, commented they have experienced these hard economic times as well and are very excited to be able to improve processes at their school with the goal of improving student achievement. So again, you can see how we have been able to impact so many areas, not just within our college, but spreading out into the community and into our employers. So this is a wonderful thing with Lean. I'm going to kind of stop at this point in time and ask and see if anyone has any questions about some of the things that we discussed as far as the impact is concerned.
Well, I believe these questions that we have received via our participants, our attendees, might go back just a tidbit to the beginning of the program.
Okay.
So this will be questions to the Piedmont team. How can you identify the efforts of your Lean initiatives in terms of your enrollment increase? How do you rule out other factors for growth, like economic growth, etc.?
Great question, Tina. In fact, we do not try to segregate or separate which of our gains are attributed to which of our endeavors. We don't say, well, out of that 9% growth, 15% of it was because of our customer service initiative, and another 17% was due to our Lean efforts. We actually use our customer service and Lean efforts to help attack all gaps that we see. So when we know that we have opportunities to improve our enrollment processes and admissions processes, we have opportunities to continuously improve our retention as well as completion rates. And so those are really a vehicle or vehicles that we use to help bring about the results that we want to make happen for our students' behalf.
Okay, thank you. And if Jeff, if you have any further questions that you would like to have clarified, you're more than welcome to submit again. I have a question from Larry. How can you justify cost avoidance as a realistic money savings? In his past 30 years of business experience with Six Sigma of 10 years, that was not a valid justification.
Question too, and when we talk about our $13.9 million, that includes both hard dollar savings and soft dollar savings. But one thing we want to be crystal clear on when we talk to other educational institutions is we don't want people to think we've got a $13.9 million laundry list of cost savings projects. We've probably had 10, 15 colleges across the country call us before and say, can you say the list of projects that all add up to $13.9 million? And, the answer is no, because it's not that easy. Like I said, we've got 1,400 projects, over 1,400 projects completed. Some of them have actually saved $100,000, $50,000. Some of them have generated additional student revenues, and some of them have simply been time savings that we could then use to accommodate more students. When we talk about Lean, and we are talking about freeing up capacity by taking away those non-value-added activities. Rather than cut staff, we choose to use that freed up capacity to help us grow and actually accommodate more students. Is there anything you want to add to that?
I think, the big thing again is a lot of individuals look at it as cost savings, and it is a cost avoidance. We don't want to say by means that it is a savings. A lot of times when we look at and how we come up with the cost avoidance, as you said, mentioned, it comes to time, the salaries that you're paying individuals and some of the doing now, and then once you apply lean area, it for a lot of their time. So that is something that that we calculate in that amount by determining they're never spending that amount of time, which may be an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, and the cost that you would normally have paid them now to do something else with that time.
And how we have been able to accommodate such incredible growth with very little increase in our fixed cost by really streamlining our processes.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for clarifying the questions of the cost avoidance and the economic growth. And then, Tara, I have a question for you. How do your students react, especially nursing students, to being taught to be expected to apply lean tools? That's normally part of a nursing curriculum, is it?
Well, actually, with our...
Or just called something else?
No, I've always called it lean. but it's kind of evolved because I've been doing this over good many semesters, and at first the students have always been very interested in it when I start talking about it. But at first, a lot of them didn't really have the understanding or concept of what lean was. Over the past few semesters, I've seen that change, and I think that has to do with the culture that we have here at Piedmont Technical College, because we believe in it as faculty and staff. We sees the differences that we have here at Piedmont Technical College, and so they come in with an idea already. And I've had a lot of people know what lean is prior to that, because they've seen differences within the admissions, and they've seen differences within the bookstore, and they've seen improved processes within financial aid. So I think that they have a buy-in with it as soon as they come into the classroom.
How do I name to attach to it?
Exactly, but how I link it with nursing, we have now adopted the CUSN standards, which is quality and safety and education for nurses, and one of ours is quality improvement. So we let lean as part of that concept, and it's not just going to be in our leadership and management class now. We're actually going to start lean within our fundamentals of nursing class, and we're going to have it threaded throughout our whole entire curriculum. So that is something that we're very excited about, that we're rolling out this fall of 2013 as well. So fall of 2013 is an awesome time for Piedmont Tech with lean, because we're doing so many different things with it.
Well, if I get sick, I want one of Tara's students to help me.
One thing I'd like to add to Tara's answer is also the steering committee here at Piedmont Tech. One of the things that we're actually looking at now is how we implement a lean curriculum throughout our whole college, not just in the nursing. Nursing has done great things with it, but now seeing other division departments that are asking, well, how can I make that part of our curriculum? So we got a way that we can push that out to all curriculums throughout the college.
I'd add that with Rusty. I talk about nursing just because it's near and dear to my heart, and that's what that's what I'm associated with. But we have respiratory therapy at our college has been working with lean. Of course, our engineering, manufacturing, continuing education. So it's not just in my facility. It's just one that I can talk about for you.
In fact, when we first started lean, our president, Dr. Ray Brooks, one of his catchphrases that he would use frequently is, I'll know that we are successful on this lean journey when I see our students using lean,
Right.
both here at the college and in our local employers.
Excellent measurement.
This question, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of try to wrap things up because I'm looking at the time, and I get why they always put.
Put Rusty.
I was gonna say, that's why I think they always put me last, because they know I can speak fast. But it go into the higher education impact, and one of the things that we did look at is, again, our whole journey started with what can we do for Piedmont Tech, our students, and basically all locally. And one thing that we noticed that we were not doing was outreach to our other partnering colleges, 2- and 4-year institutions. And so in 2012, that's when we began looking at how can we reach out to these other institutions and share our results and things that we've been successful with. One of the things that we did was we actually, the Lean Steering Committee wrote and copyrighted the Lean Higher Education training manual that we use, because during our journey, the college itself, we always used other resources, whether that be resources in manufacturing, in the healthcare industry. When you go out and do the research, there was just not a training manual for higher education in Lean. There were a lot of different articles and different things out there that we could pull from, but there was no just one setting manual that would help us in our journey. And we were able to copyright and use manual, and we actually use it with our own internal staff as we train. The next thing that we looked at doing was a higher education summit. So in the fall of 2012, we actually hosted our first Lean and Higher Education Summit, and we individuals from all over the Southeast that joined in that event, and we were real successful with that, and we're happy with the participation as we went through that process. And as you see from the Lean Summit, we did it in 2012. We had 4 different states that were represented. Many of those from South Carolina, but we did have a few from North Carolina, Georgia, and Kentucky that attended the event as well. And that we are looking to host our second annual Lean Summit, which is November the 6th and 7th. And of course, we'll have more information on the actual registration and the agenda for that conference coming very soon. And we have a log that we've started here at the college as well, and I'll show you some of that a little later in the presentation. One quick quote of one individual that attended. As you can see, Piedmont's Lean and Higher Education Summit was an informative benchmarking opportunity to lean techniques typically associated to the corporate environment leveraged success into the higher education setting. And again, this individual, he's been in contact with us several times, looking at how they can continue to improve things there at Berea College as they continue their journey. I'm going to show you this piece of the PowerPoint. I want to let you see again the ripple effect that we feel that we've caused by going the journey in higher education. And again, it goes back to when you look at the chart, Piedmont College down in the bottom center and students. That was generally our main focus as we started this journey. When we initially started in 2008, we had no idea that we're affecting others outside of the main areas, because that was our focus. And as we've continued, we continue to have and see where we touch the lives outside of just Piedmont Tech. And who's going globally, that is to be continued. We'll continue to see as we move through that process. The bottom line, what we've seen, heard earlier, cost avoidance of $13.9 million. And again, that is hard and soft savings we've seen from that. We have documented project cost savings. Again, that's for every project that we do, we have to show a documented, where do we see that cost savings or cost avoidance as we go through that process. Increased revenue, by obviously the increased enrollment growth has helped bring in additional revenue into the college. Student retention, again, we have a huge project with student retention that reaches beyond just faculty and staff across the college are part of that process, not just one group or another that's doing work retention throughout the college. And of course, student completion, we're really following that closely. I know that's one of the things that across the board they're looking at your completion rate, not just here at Piedmont Tech, but across the state and across the nation. Impact. Other things that we've realized there. Again, employers, 100+ student lean projects, and again, most of that currently coming from our nursing program. Some of the projects that they've implemented throughout their clinicals and as they go out and touch some of these healthcare facilities. South Carolina, again, positioning residents to fill open jobs, and a lot of that was a call out, for industries that were expanding in our county region and beyond, and needs that they had, and so that was an answer that we had for them. Regional impact, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, and again, so it's through our Lean in Higher Education Summit, but also some of our organizations, Student Services here on campus holds a conference every year, bringing individuals from other states as well, and they also talk about Lean and the process that it's helped in their area. Again, we mentioned global impact, to be continued. We really don't know where it's going to go from here. We keep moving forward, and we'll, keep looking at some of the projects we've had and going to those and seeing how we can continue to improve those processes. Sustainable replicability. Mentioned earlier, the tools are easy. Changing the culture is challenging, but definitely necessary. That's probably been the biggest challenge to us is the culture. As you'll see, any college that decides to go on this endeavor, you've got an initial group or that core group that will take it from the beginning and run with it, but get your whole organization to change its culture and its way of thinking is a tough process. We continue to fight with that every day. Of course, it gets better every day as well. It is something that is a continual for us. It must be the way the college approaches everything. And as I say, the college, we mean the whole college. You have, from top to bottom, you have to embrace Lean. It's not just one department or another department. You really have to have the whole college buy into the process. This is a roadmap that we've put up to kind of show you how implementing Lean in its process, from the initial initiation of it, first steps, then the pages, obviously evaluating your results, set this for any future endeavors, and then continuous improvement, wide-scale implementation, and then continue to sustain those gains. And you just basically keep going through this process as you're on your journey to make those gains and improvements. A little information about the college or those individuals involved. You can see the Lean Steering Committee, self, Maggie, Sarah Harris, Janine, and Lisa Bartanis, and there's contact information if anyone has any specific questions of us once this webinar is completed. And also at the top is our blog address. Go out and visit that. That's something that we try to update every 2 weeks. We put out news stories, and a lot of it is things that we've done here at the college, areas of the college that we've applied Lean and had improvements, and it talks about the process that we went through each of those projects. And questions and answers, Tina, that you may have?
I have one more question for you. Do you
Okay.
sustain the momentum going forward? You have done so much thus far, but how are you going to keep things rocking? You are the 2013 Bellwether Award winning program. So how are you going to, what are you going to be sharing with us in January at the Community College Futures Assembly of being able to sustain your momentum?
Actually, we've said this several times, it can't just be a program, it has to be a process and an ingrained part of your corporate culture. And so I think the biggest way to sustain the momentum is to make sure you weave this into your corporate culture. It's not that Lean thing that I have to do once a year. It becomes the way we do business. And so, we teach our managers and supervisors when their employees bring them a problem to ask questions instead of just hand out solutions. Have you identified the root cause? Have you done an A3 on that? You'll hear everybody at different levels of the organization ask questions like that. It becomes a favorite of Dr. Brooks, our president. Have you done an A3 on that? Fine. I also think it's important to not only continue to use the tools that we've already taught and our foundation is built on, but also to introduce new tools. And we've started doing more Kaizen events. And this year we're going to focus on teaching more of our participants how to facilitate those Kaizen events. And I know some of you 6 black belts and master black belts out there understand that it can be done. It just takes some development. You know, people who've participated in quality improvement teams have to think a little bit differently when they're actually facilitating a team and trying to draw the answers out of the participants of those teams. So not only reinforcing the tools that we've already learned, but adding a few new tools to our toolbox and really carrying the message out not only to other colleges, but also to K-12, you know, really looking upline, because our students come to us not only from the community, but also from the K-12 system. And if we can just impact not only our 7 counties here in the upstate, but also the higher educational community, that really helps us believe that we're fulfilling our role.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you, Piedmont Technical College, for sharing with us not only your award-winning program, but also your passion and love for students.
We really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you all, and certainly please feel free to shoot us an email, give us a call if you have any questions at all. We know we don't know all the answers, but we are certainly willing to hear questions and share our experience and also learn from other people's experiences. We've benchmarked with colleges. Looking at Tara. We've benchmarked with other educational organizations and other types of organizations as well, and realize that we don't have all the answers. We have one heck of a network, and so we can certainly help create solutions or get ideas from other people as well in our growth.
Well, Piedmont, so very much. Just a few closing statements on my behalf. As August is such a busy month for all of us getting ready for the fall term, our webinar will be held in September and then in October. So invitations will be sent to all that have attended today and all who have attended all of our previous webinars. I would also like to invite everyone to the 20th anniversary of the Community College Futures Assembly. This annual policy summit will be held in January 2014 in Orlando, Florida. Looking forward to our Piedmont team to be joining us and providing us updates of your award-winning program. Additional information regarding the Community College Futures Assembly can also be found on the Bellwether College website. And in addition to the current prestigious Bellwether Awards, for the 20th anniversary, we are adding, per the American Association of ACCT, I just totally lost it, Community College Trustees Association. Noah Brown would be not happy with me right now for stumbling over the organization that is so important to our nation. A Legacy Award will also be honored on behalf of the trustees for a bellwether program that has been successful in implementation of their program for over 5 years or that has been replicated at another institution. So we are very honored that ACCT will be sponsoring that award with us. On behalf of the Bellwether, on behalf of the Futures Bellwether College Consortium, and the Community College Futures Assembly, and Campus Connect, thank you very much for attending and contributing to our learning experience today. We look forward to you joining us for future webinars. Thank you so very much and have a great afternoon, everyone.